Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for our Friday Zoom culture call. I'm Shannon Shine, Pro 6 in the Denver area. We are so excited to bring you today's call. And we just have to, Patty Goolsby, our co-moderator with me, also Pro 6 in the Denver area. We were talking about this is our third year, you guys, bringing this call. So we just want to give a little yahoo for everybody who's been joining us and for these fun 3 years. Two quotes that we share every week. A culture is strong when people work with each other, for each other, and a culture is weak when people work against each other for themselves. That one's from Simon Sinek, and we are all about working with each other on this call and in LifeVantage. And the other quote is, culture eats strategy for breakfast every time. So I'm going to throw it over to the wonderful Patty Goolsby so she can introduce our guest speaker for today. Pat.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. I'm so excited for today, Sean. I just, first of all, want to thank you for saying yes. So Dr. Sean McKee is a double board certified physician. She's an ultra marathoner. I did not know that. And a multiple Ironman triathlete with over 32 years in the health, fitness, and wellness space. She is a Pro 8 as of this year in LifeVantage, and we are absolutely honored that she's joined us this morning. So, Dr. McKee, thank you, and share with us your LifeVantage story.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thanks for that wonderful introduction. The 32 years threw me for a loop. I'm like, no, I haven't even been alive that long. It's like, as soon as I haven't heard that one used in a long time, I'm like, wait, really? Crazy. Anyway, my story, let's see, it started back in 2011. I was absolutely exhausted, kind of in the holiday season, and my husband would come home from work, and we would sit on the couch telling me his story about his day, and I would literally be like, asleep. And every night at 7 o'clock, 7:30, I would just doze off. And of course, really, that wasn't permanent. I had to get up and, get the kids to bed and, all that. And then when I would be laying in bed, tossing and turning all night, thinking, how do I get back to sleep? I would finally figure that out at about 10 minutes before my alarm went off. I would be having the best sleep of my life. And my husband would, come into the bedroom with a cup of coffee in the morning saying, you got to get up. And I'm like, I just fell asleep. So I was really, really exhausted. And my husband finally sweetly suggested I see this age management doctor that he sends all his cancer patients to when they're looking like death. And then they come back looking like $1 million. So I was a little bit insulted on 2 counts. But ultimately very, very grateful because, she measured my labs. I was low in all kinds of things. And she put me on a gob of supplements. And so I counted up one day, I was taking 28 pills a day, and I didn't like it. And I didn't feel any better. And I did this for 6 months. I gave it the full 6 months, because I knew it's not a drug. Although she did put me on, some hormone replacement too. And when she asked me at my 6-month follow-up, how you doing? I said, I hate taking that many pills. And that's when she told me, well, there's one product you can take that's clinically proven to reduce oxidative stress by almost half in everyone who takes it in 30 days. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me about this 6 months ago? And she said, I just found out about it. And she goes, and my husband and I both take it. We invested in the company because they have peer-reviewed studies done by major medical schools. And I was like, that's really cool. I want it. And she's like, I don't sell it. I'm like, I'm buying everything else from you. Why don't you sell it? She goes, well, it's sold through a network, and I don't know how that would work in my practice. I'm like, whatever. So I went online to protandem.com. There was a website called protandem.com at the time, and I got the big box. And I got the big box because I saved $6 on shipping. It was $14.99 to ship, I think it was 12 bottles. And it was $6.99 to ship 1 bottle, or $7.99. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get the big box. I'm going to force feed it to my husband. I'm going to give it to my dog. I'm going to give it to my grandparents. I'm going to take it forever. So that's just nothing to lose. Did not think about doing the business until I walked into my gym, which I was one of the co-owners of a 140,000 square foot health and wellness facility. Was one of the many hats I wore. And I saw a sign that said LifeVantage opportunity meeting tonight. And I was like, well, I guess technically I'm a distributor. I'll go check it out. I saw the ABC News report and I was like, wait, you mean the whole world knew about this 7 years ago? Because it was 2012. I'm like, that's not fair. I'm like, that's crazy. And then I was mad that I didn't know about it 7 years ago. And then I was also amazed that that the ABC News validated it. And I was like, yeah, wow, that's really big. And then I saw Gabe Pearson up there doing his circles, and I was like, 27 years of school, and I could never earn that much income that he just drew on there for 5 who get 5 who get 5 who get 5. I'm like, I know 5 people. So my mind was blown. And, I decided, from when I first heard about it, I knew I wanted everyone I loved to be on it and to hear about it. And then I kept hearing, all you have to do is show the video. And I'm like, well, I can do that. And it just took me 4 years to wrap my mind around the true aspect of networking, because I had my nose to the grindstone my whole life, just following a path, not looking up except where's my next meal coming from, and so really networking and getting this, relationship part of the business down was, a new skill I had to learn, and I'm glad I did. So it basically enhanced my life in a big way.
Okay, so I just wrote down a couple things. You said that you were completely exhausted. You saw it, you wanted to be on it, but as a medical standpoint, like what was the biggest aha moment? Was it the oxidative stress?
Yeah, my coach called me the oxidizer. I mean, I would go do a CrossFit class, make sure I was the person that got the most wall balls in 5 minutes, so I could win the prize or whatever, because that's how I am, just competitive. And then I would go run 17 miles because I was training for a marathon, like immediately afterwards. And so, he's like, there goes the oxidizer. And I was like, that means I'm aerobically conditioned, right? Well, what it really meant was I was rusting, and I figured that out because I used to call myself the sickest healthy person I knew, or the healthiest sick person I knew, because I was always getting whatever was going around, and it would stay because I was frazzled and worn down, burning the candle at 7/12 ends,
Wow. And so what made your shift into the business? I mean, you saw the circles, you saw
Right.
it, you just switched.
Well, I knew that my husband and I wanted to have a way to get off the hamster wheel at some point, and before we found this, we'd started investing in real estate. We read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and we thought, well, real estate, that'll be a great thing. It's mailbox money, right? Well, we were big time Katrina. We lost our house. We lost about 100 doors. And so what a pain in the rear that was. And so it was no longer passive income. It was pull your hair out income, or non-income. So it was very apparent that that's not how I wanted to get off the hamster wheel. But I did want to be able to spend time with my family when my family needed me. My mom had cancer. I had to go to MD Anderson to be with her for a week. Major, major, major surgery. And I'm paying somebody to read films, and I'm paying my staff, but I'm not earning income, during that period. And I was like, how do people do this? How do people handle life? How do people take care of their loved ones when life happens? And I was like, wow, this is how. It just was like I had my answer. I mean, it's like I was praying for something I didn't even know existed. I just wanted to have time, and I wanted to have the ability to do what I needed to do or what I wanted to do, and not go further into debt doing it.
So, Dr. Shawn, how did you get pushback from people when you jumped into business and started sharing? And talk to us about, what you did.
It was so ugly. It was so ugly. I did everything textbook wrong. It was awful. So I'd send long emails, 3-page emails with every link you can imagine to every study, to every video, and basically restated what they said in those links in the email. I sent that to everyone. Got no responses, of course. So don't do that. and then I would text everyone just to watch this video. You'll be amazed. Even Montel Williams talks about it. I sent the Montel, and I just did that out of the blue with no introduction, no hey, how are you, none of that, because I'm like, they said people just need to see the video. I didn't know the video. I didn't even see the video, and I signed up. When they see the video, they're going to be all over it, right? I mean, so and I didn't figure it. I mean, I slammed my head against the wall 10,000 times and didn't think, oh, maybe I should do things differently. I just thought I should just find a different wall or wear a helmet. It took me 4 years to figure it out. And I would hear people say, oh, you get to know people, start relationships. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I've got, 18 jobs I got to do. I got to get this information out there. People need to know. And it was awful. So, my goodness, did I need network marketing? Because the whole relationship thing, it's all it is. It's all about relationships, meeting people where they're at, finding out what their needs are, and offering a solution and seeing if they're open. And once I was like, hello, that's what you have to do, I started having success. And now I can teach courses on the right way to do it, and I can teach courses on the wrong way to do it.
So even though you're a doctor, and even though you understood the science, and even though you were sharing this with people who knew that you were a doctor and understood science, you still were not having...
I was shut down like a weirdo. It's like they would come to me and let me read their MRIs, but they didn't want to talk to me about anything else because, they knew I was going to start talking about Protandim. And I just thought there's no way they're going to do that because I'm a neuroradiologist. I'm an Ironman. I own a fitness club. I have influence. And I did get a lot of people to sign up, but they didn't even take it. They just bought it to get me to shut up. So don't do that.
So what has changed today? You meet somebody, you're talking with them. I know you've been embracing social media. What does it look like today for you?
Today, I say, oh my gosh, that's awful. I hope you can find some relief. Just wondering, are you open to looking at something that's natural? Or you mentioned that you didn't have any time. Have you ever thought about starting your own business? Just questions. Ask questions. And then you don't talk to people about it if they don't say yes. And I was like, all I have to do is get them to change their yes to a no, and their no to a yes. And I was like, all I have to do is they just need a little bit more information. Obviously, they just need to know what Montel Williams said. Obviously, they just need to know what Perlmutter says. No, you just can't chase people and or interruption marketing and all that. So yeah, it's just asking if they're open. That's the magic. That's the secret sauce right there.
So back up half a step. What made you decide to stop looking for walls to beat your head against and to, learn?
I saw people have success, and I'm like, I want that. I want to have that time freedom. I want to have choices. I want to be able to do what I want, where I want, when I want, with whom I want. And there's got to be a way that it's working. Let me watch what they're doing. And so I spent a lot of money on taking courses, and that was, sometimes it was wasted money because it was way above my head and it was talking about, techniques that I'm not using, but mostly it was just mindset, changing my mindset and realizing that this was a cathartic Zoom. Thank you. All that.
And how about
because I'm hungry.
How about events? How about the LifeVantage events? Were those something that opened your ears to how to do this?
Hi, Susan. Yes, that's where I saw the people having the success. I knew it was possible. And, and the other thing is, you can't do the best in the world when you are stressed because you've, got things you can't handle because you got to be at work, or you can't, like, for instance, if my kids had a swim meet at 5 and I would say, I'm going to leave work a little bit early today. well, if a patient came in, and needed supervision, I couldn't leave, I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to, schedule my day and have people where they needed to be and just have choices. And, with any job, you can make things to have choices. And I saw how people were having that freedom and having that ability to, lead their lives and bring joy to others and serve and do good in the world and make good humans out of their children. And it's just like, I just wanted that.
Wow. So talk about events and how your personal development helped you grow.
Well, the events, just showed that everything was possible. And I listened to the leaders that, told me basically what I'm telling you is that just ask questions. As Carrie Dickey says, make a friend, find their pain. I just, internalize the lessons that I've heard over and over again at events. And it doesn't matter if I've heard it 7 times or 10 times. I need to hear it over and over again. It's like motivation is like bathing. You need it daily.
Mm-hmm. So I know this happens a lot. We get a lot of medical people in, or people that want to know so many medical questions. And I think sometimes it stalls people. How would you help them shorten that curve a little bit?
I say it doesn't matter what the diagnosis is. The thing to do is to get the cells healthy, period. So I just say, we're expanding the health component of everyone's body, whether they have a condition or whether they don't have a condition. Everyone needs to have the most health that they can in their life. And this just, keeps it simple.
And how about when you have people on your team? So 2-part question. You have people on your team who are resistant to knowing how to follow how we say to do network marketing, or they say, well, sure, you're a doctor. That's why you're successful.
I tell my story. I say, well, when I did this like a doctor, I had 0 success. When I did this like a mom, I have great success. It's and how many moms do you know? So it's just, you have to, and if people won't do it, you let them, you let them do it their way, and you say you're here for them when they need you, but you can't force someone to see the way to do it any more than, the person that was at Blind of Me going, oh, what could help me in the 4 years? So they just shook their heads. Yep.
Well, I know we've watched you from the sidelines for a long, long time, and you're so generous with your time, and you're always, I saw you on a call and you said, I help out other teams. I say yes, because that's helps me learn. Tell us, kind of go back a little bit to, as a brand new distributor today, when you're launching your brand new distributor today, what does that look like for you?
Well, I just basically put everything in one place, in our group, and I just say, this is how I do it. Now groups have units. I don't know if you guys use units, but I put everything in different units and make it digestible. I don't do launch calls as a rule. If somebody wants to do one, I'll do it, but I don't say, here's what your next step is. This is what we do. We do a launch call. I mean, every once in a while I'll say that, but nobody ever takes me up on it. So I just stopped. So, and that's also time consuming. Whereas, if you do the work once and you put all the steps in the group and you teach everybody to go there and this is what you do, then you do have a little bit more time freedom. So, we don't all want a job. You don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to be doing launch calls from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, because that's, not going to be a very appealing life to somebody that's trying to, get out of work or get out of a job. So I just say, announce that you started a new business, reach out to people, ask, if they're open,
And how about now that hair care has come out as of this week?
Yep.
What are you talking with your team about with respect to that?
I just, we had a little, not everybody, but a lot of us had little hair care launch events inside Facebook. And I'm like Natalie Chavreau now, Facebook. And we just shared the live that Like Vantage did into that. And before it happened, we put little, before and after pictures in there. And we talk about it a lot. And it's crazy, like, people that don't even care about their health, care about their hair, and they buy it. So we have a whole new sector of the world that is now our market, which is really exciting.
It is very exciting, very exciting. You said you took a lot of courses. I want to back up to that a second here. What would you, to help the new people, they're like, well, what do you mean you took courses? How did you learn this? What would you tell them, like the top 2 or 3 things that you would do? Like, is there a certain book or is there a certain person that you follow that you really resonated with?
Yeah. Well, I basically cyber stalked Rachel Jackson and Tara Wilson for a while. And then I took Rachel's course, which was really good. And Ray Higdon and Eric Worre's. I got the social media course from Eric Worre. Obviously read the GoPro book. Fraser Brooks has a great free networking group. The other book I recommend is The Game of Networking by Rob Sperry. Really good book. And The 4-Year Career, I read that at the beginning. That's how I knew it was a real thing. It would be a real way off the hamster wheel, because I was like, okay, I can do the math. But that didn't help me so that was a problem. I read that book and I didn't read anything about, I didn't read GoPro and I didn't read The Game of Networking. Of course, they weren't out when I started. But those 2 books, I think, will be, the first thing to read, to really know how to talk to people and do it right and come from a place of caring, which I was coming from a place of caring. I really was, but I was just force feeding care, take your castor oil.
So would you say social media has changed your business or put a tool in your toolbox that you are utilizing more frequently?
Yes. First of all, it's where I found the mentors that I was looking for, didn't know I was looking for, but also it's just an easy way to share, to communicate. You don't have to ask somebody for their number because you already are looking at their number through Facebook. You have Messenger. So it's just real super streamlined, to ask, like, you can do everything through text. Are you open to looking at a natural solution? Watch this news report. If they say yes, but it's just easier if you have a Facebook group and you have, all the information in one place. And you can send it through Messenger. I love it. Super easy.
I do too. I love it. I love reaching out to you and you're like, yes, I'm free that Friday. And it's great to connect all of us together. Shannon.
Yeah, I just want to point out how much you have shared the message of how important it's been for pouring into yourself, for learning. You have to take the time to learn how to do this business. You have to read. You have to, be following mentors. And because you're very highly educated, but that is not the type of knowledge that will help you be successful in this business.
Yeah.
I love all the focus and the effort on, you said, well, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to, do what I need to do to be successful.
Yeah. And you just have to own up to your weaknesses. And I knew I was a, bull in a china shop. I just didn't know what to do about it. So I thank God found out the right way.
So take us to, what are your plans? What are your plans for through the end of the year and going into January? And what are you telling your team how to use these last couple of busy weeks of the year and into January?
Well, I'm planning on just connecting with as many people as possible, having conversations about what's going on in their lives and maybe extracting a couple of pain points and then making a note to reach back to them after or just say, you ought to check out what I'm doing. I think you'd really like it. And then if they say, what is it? Well, just, we'll connect after the holidays. We're here to enjoy each other, and because when I try to take a conversation from curiosity to the facts every single time, if it's in the same conversation, it always, you just start to see the glaze on their eyeballs. It's like clockwork. I mean, I have to tell myself, don't tell them, 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 I don't care. Because it's just, it's like they go, oh, I don't know. So don't have the conversations at the holiday season if you can help it. You can, if you have a Facebook group, you can add them to the group during the holidays and let them learn on their own. But that's the only way someone's going to learn, is if they're learning on their own. They're not going to listen to you telling them anything, because they're going to be thinking all of their objections while you're talking. Happens every time. And I just have to resist. Even today, almost 7 years later, I'm like, I get tempted to talk about it. And I'm like, I just blew it. I just said, it's like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. It's like, I just ruined it,
That is so good. I hope everyone listening is getting all these. You said curiosity to the facts. That is a great little nugget, you guys. Huge.
Yeah.
And you said open to looking at a natural solution. I mean, I've got several little things. I'm like, okay, got to get that programmed in here, because it's programming. Because what comes out is from learning, and that's what you've been doing. You're a learner naturally, but like you said, you just wanted to tell everybody everything, and then they do that look, and you're like, oh, I went way too far.
Yeah.
Pull it back in.
Yep. It's and it was super hard for me, because I just thought, well, every time I've spoken up until that point in my life, people were like, and where is that tumor? And what nerve is it impinging? And then now it turned into, so I really had to it was a big struggle for me. And so if I can do it, anyone can do it. And it makes it so much easier. It's funner. It's more fun. It's easier. It's more fun and easy for your person that you're talking to too. So you just want to make the whole interaction pleasant. And as Carrie, and I've heard, I credit to Carrie Dickey. So make it about them. It's always about them, not you. If you feel pressured or nervous, it's because you're thinking about you and not them. Because you just have to offer a solution and collect their answer, whether it's yes or no. And you're on to the next person if it's no. If it's yes, then you've got a little more work to do. But you don't have to know everything all at once.
I love that reminder. And I always think 2 ears and 1 mouth, that's the ratio to be speaking and listening in. So that's an excellent reminder for you to share. It's all about them.
Yeah.
Of that.
Well, I'm so glad you jumped on here this morning. Thank you, because I know you are a super busy woman, and we really, really appreciate your time, and you're very authentic about, look, the wall. I was looking for a new wall to beat my head against. I love that you share that, because I think some people think, I really do believe they think we have to be perfect and the right words. And I'm like, there are none. And so everything you said today is so worth every person listening to, whether you're new or you've been in and you've been here for a long time. Any closing thoughts, Shannon or Dr. McKee?
Yeah, Dr. McKee, go. Do you have any last words to bless us with? Take us into the Christmas.
Be brave, but you don't need to be brave, because it's not about you, right? So just share from your heart, but share by asking questions. It's kind of an oxymoron, but yeah, it just remember the pain that I went through and avoid it.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being our guest this morning.
You're welcome.
Everybody have a wonderful Christmas. And then next week, we'll be here next week. We're going to do a end of the year wrap up. Patty?
And I would love the recording of this as well from my team.
Absolutely.
Thank
We
you
will
so
send it
much.
out to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
What a cool call Zoom you guys have. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
For so long.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, everybody. See you next week. Have a great one.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.